11 lights go in and 1 comes out. I spent a small fortune on today's best pistol lights to see which one is the most durable. So I have 10 tests and each one is worth 10 points for a total potential of 100 points. Without further ado, let's jump into the testing. The vibration table should uncover if any of these lights have fragile electrical connections or substandard build quality. Any loose component could vibrate itself right off the board. I mount up all 11 lights. The table has a max setting of 111. I set the table there and let it run. So we've got all the lights mounted up. We're ready to go on the vibration tester. We've seen in the past that this thing can be pretty violent as it cycles through its harmonics. So let's see how the lights do. 90 minutes vibration. After 90 minutes, I stop the test and check the lights. TLR-1 HL, all good. Sig Sauer Foxtrot2R, looks good. To my surprise, all of the lights still work without any evidence of having damage or electrical issue. We award 10 points to each light. The second test will indicate how susceptible the lights are to water intrusion from mist. Note that the Surefire XR2 has the lowest IPX rating of the group at IPX4. So if any of the lights are going to be in trouble here, it's likely to be the Surefire. I load up all 11 lights and start the test. These lights sit in the mist tester for 45 minutes. I pull the lights out and they're all working perfectly, including the XR2. This test awards a perfect score of 10 points to each light. With 2 tests down, all the lights have survived without a single failure. I'm hoping a water dunk tank will result in some failures or at least some sort of water intrusion within these lights. I need to point out that 2 of these lights, the Olight Mini 3 Valkyrie and the Surefire XR2, use pouch cells. In most cases, this type of light is not rated for submersion. I don't expect either of these 2 lights to pass this test. I drop these lights into the tank and let them rest for 30 minutes. When the time's up, I pull each light out of the tank and check it for water intrusion within the body or within the head. Let's start with the Holosun P.ID. I don't see any water inside. Let's open it up. Those O-rings feel pretty tight. I don't see any water. Nice. Nightstick TWM-30-T. Batteries are super dry. So the Olight has a battery that is not encapsulated in the light itself. It's actually part here. It looks like there's a little bit of water right inside there. There was a tiny bit of moisture between two of the contacts. Surefire XR2, this also has a cell. Let's go ahead and pop that out. I'm shocked it's dry. There's the tiniest bit of moisture around the edge of the gasket surface, but it's dry where the contacts meet. All of the other lights performed as expected until Modlite. Oh. Inside the battery compartment. Looks to me like that O-ring didn't succeed in keeping the water out, or the water intruded elsewhere. I mean, there's a fair amount of water in there, and we had seen bubbles coming up from it. Do we know what this light is rated? You remember? Okay, yeah, that's. Now it makes me concerned that the Modlite has water intrusion. I look on Modlite's website and I do not see an IPX rating, but I'm thinking maybe I should test my second life light in the water tank to see if it has water intrusion as well. I drop the light in and run it for the same amount of time as the other batch of lights. I grab the light out of the tank, open it up, and here is what I find. Let's see if there's any water. Now, I'm suspecting that there is water inside this because we saw bubbles rising. Okay. Oh, I was hopeful. Water on the battery. Let's try that where the head is. There's still a tiny bit of water inside the head, but almost all of this water came out of the body. I suspect that where the switches are, that there may be an area that water can intrude. I think our first test was valid. These lights appear to be susceptible to water intrusion. Unfortunately, both the Olight and the Modlite had water intrusion, but they both still work, so they get 5 points. All the other lights get 10. It's time to push these lights a little bit harder. Our 2-meter tank has killed lights before. Let's see if it does so again. The additional depth has the effect of putting more hydraulic pressure onto the seals of these lights. I would expect that this will uncover any light that doesn't have the proper seals and the proper structure to keep water out. I turn the lights on and I toss them in. If the lights turn off inside the tank, that's okay. This is not a test to see how long the lights stay on, but it's a test to see if there's water intrusion. After 90 minutes, I dump the lights out of the tank so I can inspect each one. Well, it really doesn't mean much since this is not a test to see how long lights will run underwater, but we know the Surefire X300 Turbo is still working. We know the Nightstick TWM-30-T is still working. Let's check out the rest of them. Holosun. Dry. Modlite. Okay, it still functions. Maybe a tiny bit of water in there. Olight. No. Oh, did it? Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can see the water all in the contact area. Just like the Modlite, the Olight has some water intrusion. Everything besides the Modlite and the Olight were perfectly dry inside. But at this point, I'm wondering how the Surefire XR2 will fare. No water intrusion into the contact area. That is impressive. In this test, unfortunately, the Olight died completely, apparently due to the water intrusion. This light's now going to be using its second life. The Modlite PL-350C has water intrusion, but it did survive. As a result, the Olight gets 0 points and the Modlite gets 5 points. The rest of the lights are dry inside and get 10 points. Lights need to stand up to recoil. Both the internal electronics and that rail interface need to be robust enough. The light should not flicker if subjected to significant G-force. This rail drop test simulates recoil by causing the light to stop suddenly. I'm going to drop each light 10 times to see if it stays attached to the rail or to see if it flickers. The TLR-1 HLX battery door uses a steel tab to hold it closed, which is shown here bolted on with a hex head. The steel broke at the bend, which means the battery door can no longer stay closed. The TLR-1 HLX had battery door failure, giving it 0 points. Lights with flicker each drop get 5 points. The X300 Turbo has unclear torque instructions, giving it 8 points. The XR2 had almost imperceptible flicker once, so it gets 9. The rest of the lights get 10 points. To test for direct impact, I'm going to bash these lights into the concrete floor repeatedly. I clamp these lights onto a section of AR-15 rail. Behind the rail is a section of heavy black pipe, which adds weight and inertia. I lift it up and let it fall 10 times.
All of the rail failures that occurred during this test were caused by over-torque during the first round of testing. We came back and did a second round of testing at the proper torque spec. We included the footage to demonstrate just how important the torque of a rail screw is to a light's durability.
The TLR-1 HLX apparently has enough inertia in the switches, or maybe something else going on inside of it, that causes that light to turn off. I probably should have also tried to drop the TLR-1 HLX with the light off to see if the inertia in the switches turned it back on. Either way, the TLR-1 HLX had a unique failure on this test. The biggest failure on this bash test was the Surefire X300 Turbo. The screw broke in the same spot as it did in the previous test. This led me to think that perhaps I tightened the screw too much. The first test, I torqued it to 20 inch-pounds, and the second test, I torqued it less to 15 inch-pounds. The manual does not state a particular torque, but I thought to reduce the possibility of my own error, I would hand tighten the screw and run both tests again. The X300 held together when the screw was hand tightened without any tool. However, due to the lack of clear torque instructions, the X300-T is docked some points. Similarly, I installed new rail clamps on the Streamlights that had an issue. I tightened to Streamlight's spec of finger tight using a quarter. They loosened up on the rail and I did have to occasionally retighten. They held up. I think there's a valuable lesson here. Don't be complacent with the amount of torque used when tightening your light on the rail. Follow the manufacturer's recommendation. So after redoing the bash test, here are the updated scores. At this point, these lights, or their repaired counterparts, or their second life counterparts, have all survived. They are all working. But we know that we demand our lights also work in some of the most demanding, dusty, dirty environments. Frankly, our holsters can get fairly dirty, especially if we're out training in the dust and dirt. What I have here is a bunch of Portland cement, and we're gonna tumble these lights in a mixture of that Portland cement, see if they come out and they still work. These lights tumble around in this powder mixture for half an hour. I pull the lights out, blow them off with compressed air, and I'm shocked as to what I find. All the lights continue to work. Sure, the switches on the PL-350C, the TLR-1 HL, and the Surefire X300-T are stiff, but they do work, and they loosen back up after a few cycles. I wasn't able to find any dust intrusion on any light. I am simply not succeeding at getting these lights to fail. Because I'm having trouble breaking these lights, I'm going to get a little more extreme here. I'm going to heat these lights up to 140 degrees Fahrenheit with a dwell time of 30 minutes. Then I take them down into our studio for cooling. And here is where I get extreme. Liquid nitrogen boils at negative 320 degrees Fahrenheit. I pour this nitrogen into a Pyrex bowl, turn the lights on, and I set them in one by one. When the boiling is slowed significantly, I take them and set them on the grate. As the lights warm up to room temperature, I'm surprised to see something develop. The lights with the mechanical switches and prime cells start turning on. Dimly at first, but with increasing strength over time. I did not expect this. I gently warm all the lights up. After the lights are around or slightly above freezing, I try the other lights. It seems they're not working. I swap in fresh batteries to determine if the lights or their batteries died. To my amazement, the lights work with fresh batteries. Again, this is great for the lights, but not so great for my testing. This didn't separate any of the lights from the pack. However, I did learn something. If I'm operating a light at temperature extremes, I'm probably going to use prime cells. Though the rechargeable cells did come back after a little more time, the prime cells were the first to get back working and they didn't require additional intervention. All the lights get a score of 10 for the temperature shock test. At this point, it's clear that these lights are well built. I had expected to see more failures by now. This is great if you're a fan of any of these lights, but it's harder for me to find the standout performers. I need to push these lights harder. Thankfully, I have a test which is guaranteed to kill lights. We are now going to get pretty extreme and try to nail this down. We've got a concrete mixer, and inside that concrete mixer, we've thrown some rocks. And I'm not talking gravel, we're talking rocks. We're gonna see how robust the whole light is, including the switches, and see if it stands up to rolling around in this concrete mixer. I'll be checking the lights periodically and awarding points based upon how long each one lasts. If I can activate a light without tools, then it passes and keeps getting tumbled. Uh-oh, it lost parts. Pin's bent too. But it's not. Hey, look, one more. Oh! TLR-1 HLX just isn't turning on anymore. The switches, oh, there we go. Now it's not turning off. We can let it go a little bit longer and see if it survives further. Nightstick lost its switches. The Modlite lost one of the switch ears. One of the switches is gone on the 7 HLX, the old Foxtrot2R. One side, the constant mode doesn't work, but it works on this side with a huge bent ear. Here is the TLR-1 HLX. TLR-1. Switches actually feel pretty good. What is that? Yeah, it's a cover that's gone. Hey, let's go. Holosun works. Ha! Olight works. That one switch. Oh, it is working. Huh. Foxtrot2R. TLR-1's looking a little worse for the wear. I don't know if you can see that lens is all busted up, but I bet you it turns on. Olight works. That is shocking how durable these lights are. Let's go. Okay, Holosun. Modlite. Oh, it's so gritty, but it's working. Oh man, the TLR-1 lens is now breaking out. Oh no! Oh no, oh no, oh no! Oh no, oh no! Foxtrot2R. Come on. Aha! 7 HLX. Ha 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 ha! Olight! The switches appear to be done. It's crunchy, but it's worky. Holosun. This is the Olight, which is working. Well, I don't know. It's pretty unreliable. Come on, turn off. There we go. And it works. No, 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 no. Come on. There we go. Modlite? Oh no! I don't know how I activate it. There's no switch left. Olight? Honestly, the switches have never even had problems. Oh no, I lost the other switch off of the 7 HLX. Both switches work on the Holosun. The lens is cracked. It's actually a little oval, but it works. I want it to work. I want the Surefire to work. Olight. Really, we can't have the two lights that survive the longest be the Olight and the Holosun. What I find amazing is, out of the last three lights that survived, two of them have these cell batteries that I would have thought would be the least robust. The Surefire even survived submersion, and this particular battery is even the battery that went into the liquid nitrogen and then came out, and then we just recharged it. I'm shocked at the durability of these lights, because you wouldn't expect that they would be as durable or more durable than some of the other ones that take prime cells. We set out to run this test until we had a very limited set of surviving lights. We've now got two, the Olight and the Holosun. These lights get 10 points for this test, and they get graduated to the next extreme test, where they can have a potential for 10 more points. At one time, we dropped lights off the roof of our building here. That test was way too tame. This time, I'm going to drop these lights from 300 feet. Each of these lights is going to be dropped twice, and it gets 5 points for each drop if it continues to function.
Oh my gosh, that was horrifying. And still running. Cracked the lens for sure. Oh my goodness. Oh, man. Oh my goodness. Where's the light? Oh. Crap.
Oh! The Olight still works for one switch. The Holosun seems to work a little better. I'm gonna declare the Holosun the winner, but I tell you what, the last two tests were ridiculously hard, and we had to work super hard to kill all of these lights. They're all amazing, but I'm gonna declare the Holosun P.ID our durability champ for 2025. The Olight and the Holosun continue working after both drops. The Holosun has visible damage, but still works reliably. And the Olight continues switching on and off like it's a normal used light. I struggled to kill these lights. Any one of the 11 lights in our test set should perform well for you under normal circumstances. At this point, I want to remind you that Werkz designs and builds precision fit holsters for pistols with lights. If you're looking for a holster for any of these lights, check out Werkz.com, select your gun and light in the holster finder, and see if we have the right solution for you. So which light is the winner? It's the Holosun P.ID. The Holosun did not lose a single point in any of our testing, resulting in a score of 100. From a durability perspective, this light is hard to beat. My only knock against it is the press-in style switches, which is really an ergonomic issue, not a durability issue. Now, the second place light is based upon points, not necessarily which light made it to the drone drop. This second place light is the Surefire XR2. This light was the surprise of the group for me. It consistently performed well in our testing. I was shocked that it kept water out of the battery contacts, which is something that it's not rated to do. And I was impressed that in our rail drop test, this battery was consistently smashed into concrete and it didn't have any deformation. Now, completing our podium in third place is the Olight PL-3 Mini Valkyrie. This light failed in the water, but in all the other conditions, it was quite durable. Even if your favorite light did not end up on the podium, I wouldn't despair. They're all incredibly tough, and I've personally run many of them in my daily carry. If you think the testing wasn't fair or should have been improved, let me know in the comments below. So which light would you choose? Based upon what you saw today, are you going to be switching up your concealed carry gear? Thanks so much for watching. From all of us here at Werkz, have a blessed day.